Hey, let me tell you a little story about peppermint being a hot oil. Okay, that's kind of a funny way of labeling peppermint because in reality it has menthol in it, so it's a very cooling oil. It's a very strong cooling sensation when you use peppermint topically. Now, for some people, the cooling sensation can feel overwhelming. I personally love it, but if it does feel overwhelming, first of all, take their word for it, and second of all, just apply a carrier oil until that sensation subsides, okay? But here's where peppermint can actually become hot. I'm going to tell you a little story. So our upline of Promise Life team is Erica Gehring. She runs the Little by Little page. And I was actually at her house one day when she was giving out samples, and she had a little sample vial, and she was pouring some peppermint into a sample to give to somebody, and she just kind of dumped a bunch all over her hand right here. And so anyways, we all left her house, and within the hour, she went to go take a nice long bath soak in a hot bath. And as she was sitting in the bath soak, her hand just increasingly started to feel warm and warm and warm, and then all of a sudden it felt really hot and was like burning. And so, you know, she quickly got out and they started applying carrier oil again and again and again until the sensation subsided. So you really can deal with it with a carrier oil. You just dilute it until the sensation goes away. But so she told me that story about, she had totally forgotten that she had spilled peppermint on her hand until she was sitting in the bathtub and was like, what is wrong with my hand? It's on fire. And it was the hot water that was like reactivating the constituents in the peppermint, but it was making it feel hot instead of cool, which is kind of crazy. So knowing that story, I had a similar incident where I used actually Panaway and Deep Relief, and I had used it for joint and muscle support. I'd put it on my lower back, and totally forgetting about the fact that there was peppermint in that blend, I then went with friends and we jumped into the hot tub like 15 minutes later. So I had like freshly applied this peppermint oil blend and then hopped into a hot tub. And I could feel this kind of tingling sensation, and then it got stronger, and then it was kind of stinging. It wasn't so bad because I'm not super sensitive, but I was like, you know, this is just kind of weird. And it got to the point where it was like, I was fine with it. It didn't bother me, but I didn't know how much worse it could possibly get, and I didn't have a carrier oil on me. So at that point when I'm like, this is kind of intense, like I don't really mind it because I know that it's a peppermint, thank goodness I knew because of Erica's experience. But at the same time, I didn't know how extreme it could possibly get. So I just got myself out of the hot tub, I toweled off, made sure I had got the water off of that location, and just kind of sat out for about 10 minutes. Again, I didn't have a carrier oil, so I couldn't dilute it. But the sensation subsided within not very long of getting out of the hot tub. And so I decided to try my luck and get back in again. And the second time around, I didn't have any issues. That heat sensation had totally subsided. Now, I don't know if that's normal. It would be different for a different person. But I felt very grateful that I knew that that heat sensation, it probably would have freaked me out if I had no idea about Erica's story. So I want to pass that along to you. Again, it was nothing that was so unbearable that I couldn't deal with it, but it was enough that I was like, oh, this is what she's talking about. So if you have a carrier oil somewhere, just keep it on hand. People say you should carry it in your purse. I don't have any. I need to do that. Just a roller ball of carrier oil for that exact reason. If somebody gets it in their eye, somebody is feeling something uncomfortable, you have that on the ready.